Hello, I'm Tom Doyle with the ARA. We're here going to talk a little bit about the equipment rental business, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on today and in the future. First, we're going to do with a couple of guests here. Go ahead, Brian. Give us a little.
I'm Brian Flynn with McAllister Rentals in Indianapolis, Indiana. We represent the CAT network for Indiana and Michigan.
And how many stores are you guys up to now?
We're up to 28 stores as of one brand new one 3 weeks ago.
Oh, congratulations on the new one. Good stuff on that. Great. And then we're going to go across the coast and hear from Mr. Robert.
I'm Robert Pedersen with A Toolshed Equipment Rentals out in Silicon Valley, California. We've got 8 locations out there, been in business for 80 years this year.
Any new ones?
So no new ones right now, but I'm also serving as the ARA president this year.
Which has been awesome. You're doing a great job with that too. Before we get into the business side of it, anything around the ARA membership side, everything going well?
Everything's going good. Yeah, we're looking forward to the show coming up in Orlando. That's always a great event, and it's almost sold out. So it's going to be a good show, even though it does back up to ConExpo this year.
It is a go-to. So just when we looked at the numbers and that, then we'll talk a little bit about the industry changing, a little bit around the business. Industry changing wise, we look at the number of locations in US and Canada that's renting equipment. We're at 11,000 locations now. We got almost over 6,000 rental companies that are doing that business. So it's gotten so big. And we just looked at the forecast on that, and we're up to over $85 billion in US and Canada.
Yeah.
So it's become a very large business, So let's talk a little bit about business. First of all, Brian, how's it been going for you in 2025?
Business in 2025, we've had a solid year as we come in. We had a slower start than we anticipated, but we came out of the backside of it very strong, and we're still running pretty strong through October into November.
So when you say that slow start, I guess I've been out talking to our suppliers, equipment suppliers, manufacturers, and almost to a company back in that Q1, Q2 timeframe, they're all kind of going, what's going on? There were a lot of uncertainty going on with that. Is that kind of what you're saying? And then it kind of picked up?
Uncertainty and just the uncertainty with the current projects that are going on. We came out of the COVID years, we had orders in, the equipment finally landed. It put our utilization at a lower number than we were used to, even though it was by design. We were running at higher utilization numbers that were uncomfortable for the business, the health of the employees, and the health of the equipment. So we made strategic efforts to lower our utilization to put a little less stress on the business. And when we got there, we were still feeling as if we should be at a certain percentage that we normally felt. And it took leadership to say, be patient, let it come through, and it finally did come through. And we still yet are now at levels that we feel uncomfortable with sometimes.
Still, okay.
And but that's the growth of the business that we were anticipating, and it came, and thankfully it did. In Indiana, we're very lucky to have some massive projects coming through the pipeline.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And it's helped us navigate those, but it's also had us step back into our business and try to understand what our focus is. We've always been focused in the relationship with our contractors, navigating the good times and the bad times. When you got large projects like we've got coming in through Indiana right now, we're having to make those determinations of we are still going to support the masses, not just a singular project.
There you go.
And doing it in a balanced manner.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was in Indiana last month. I couldn't believe the work being done. Infrastructure as well. You've got a lot of work going on. Let's talk about California.
Well, for us, it was actually started off a little slow, the same thing. It built up a little bit in October, but it was still fairly flat out in Silicon Valley, mostly because of the tech layoffs. So it's really affected our area. There's a lot of people, a lot of industry moving, and California still is not business friendly. So with those industries leaving, it's been a little flat. I'm really looking forward to second quarter 2026. Put it that way.
So how about we talk about the larger projects that Brian's seen in the Midwest, we're seeing across the country. Are you getting any of that in?
Not really. I mean, they're trying to do a few of the larger data center projects, but we're nowhere near what they are in the rest of the country. It's just not happening out in Silicon Valley. Property is too expensive for one.
Right.
They don't have the infrastructure for the power as another one in California at this point. So
yeah,
there's a lot of work that
has been a problem there with the grid.
Right. And Nevada is so close. That's where they're it's shifting into the other states.
Yeah,
So.
you're getting that in southern and northern Nevada, right? So within California, within your customers, are you seeing a mix then? Are you looking to change your mix?
We've already started changing our mix, going into away from the homeowner that we and small contractor that we've typically done, to more of the industrial and the larger contractors is where we've been shifting our focus to at this point. Even though the homeowners were our lifeblood during COVID, that market with the housing market that's been created by all the job losses and everything else just isn't moving. So we're not moving any of the small stuff anymore. It's just sitting there getting rusty. So we've shifted our focus to some of the larger equipment and trying to put it out on some of the larger infrastructure jobs.
Well, okay, so you guys were in Indiana and California. Just perspective on the other states as well, the areas we looked at, the residential construction was off within the U.S. and it's pretty slight up in Canada as well. And total construction dollars were down, and those are big drivers of rental, right? And GDP was hanging in there. We noticed that was a little slow to start, but it's around that 2% range, so that's workable. So the rental revenue pieces are out there, but I think what you guys are saying too, it's mixed. Because we've also heard then a lot of the companies that I've talked to, rental companies I'm talking about, it's about a single digit down to maybe just a little bit up. And the ones that are up are in the areas that have got the big projects. If they don't have the big projects, or kind of what you're talking about, then we've had to look for new business, maybe change the customer mix up or even look at different product categories.
Yes.
To get into, right?
That mix is important, and we're starting to look at our mix based off of our categories that we break our business down into, and it's aerial, it's CAT equipment, it's telehandlers or forklifts.
Yep.
And we've started really dissecting how our reps fleet mix is looking and what those markets actually attack. If you're looking for the CAT line items, the dirt moving equipment, are we still calling on the landscapers and the plumbers and the dirt work guys, and not just relying on our aerial focus team, which is a complicated business, but sometimes less complicated than the CAT dirt moving world.
You bet. So on that, looked at the gen rents, which we kind of all grew up with. We've seen a lot of the stronger CAGR in the specialty businesses that have gone up. And a lot of the public companies that are reporting are showing higher volumes and growth rates on that. Are your companies seeing the same?
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Any certain those product categories that are driving that, or?
Power generation power and HVAC has been strong numbers, not just in the large projects, but in the mid-sized projects as well. We've got a specialty division focused on concrete and floor preparation, trowels and that type of stuff. Strong growth there as the equipment values are, still increasing in some cases. Lead times are still long in some cases. The contractors their equipment is aging, and they're now looking to us in a generational change of they have to own this to be successful, or valuing the rental equipment in the project itself.
Yeah, do they really need to own it versus,
Yes.
Own that job and then maybe rent the equipment?
Certainly cost of ownership.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then we've seen the same thing. We don't have any specialty markets that like what you do, but we have definitely seen a shift of not owning our contractors not owning the equipment. It's better off to come and use ours and beat ours up and then get and charge it back to the project and just leave it at that. So
Okay.
I think the focus as well on using the rental companies, not just ourselves, but our competition, is I think there is ownership value still, but they start using their data from their rental companies to justify, I need to own this.
Yeah.
I need to grow with this piece. And then that just sends on a growth internally for themselves. And then they still grow with us, providing data on how they manage their equipment for their jobs.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And we've seen a shift from California, and some of the, not just us, but some of our other competitors carry the electrical equipment. At first it was a big focus out there, but it's kind of tapered off a little bit over this last year. But there still is that market for that specialty tool, and especially on some of the government jobs that they want them on. They look at those specs and they want that equipment out there. So that's been a different shift for us, that we're a market that we're trying to attack right now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and a lot of benefits around that as well. That you can look at, being an asset business, we got to make sure we got the correct assets. Well, how about we look real quickly into 26? Maybe a couple of comments around that before we head out.
We are currently in our budgeting for 2026. We're using the ARA data that came out, talking about how the national average is looking growth-wise, while also looking more closely at our focus point around Indianapolis, north side of Indiana, and so forth, with the projects coming through, that we're going to probably see growth above and beyond what the ARA prediction was nationally, just because of the projects that are being present in our territory.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a strong year, hopefully without having the data, done, probably double the national average is what we're hoping for.
Which again, we're looking at a low single-digit increase for 26.
And that's where I think we're looking at is in second quarter 2026 is probably the low single digit for us in Silicon Valley. It really depends on the housing market, the interest rates. If that starts to move, then we could see double digits. Honestly, if the housing market starts to take off, we will see the double digit growth.
Yeah, we're looking at that. I think some of the numbers we're looking at is Q3, Q4 probably be pretty strong for 26. So a lot of good headwinds that we can look forward to. Again, understanding some of the tailwinds also that are out there. So.
And we're dealing with our seasonality of the Midwest and so forth, and ultimately learning from what goes on the West Coast and the East Coast that then filters into the Midwest and the central part of the country. So lots of different factors going on, but we're seeing strong evidence that it should be a solid year. Might be a slower start and a strong finish.
Well, we've talked a lot of different areas, and again, I think it shows the kind of the coolness and the growth of the rental business. So best of luck to both you guys in 26.
Thank you very much, Tom.